Hi, everybody. Jen Burbis with the Burbis Group. We're going to talk about the City of Austin real estate numbers for April. Data that is interesting for this month. Total sales are down 14%. Under contract and pending is down only 2.8%. You're going to see this theme over and over again. There seems to be some latent demand that's just kind of saying steady state, which we're really happy to see, because in other news, there's a 21% increase in listings from last year. I'm going to show you that in our chart of the data that we collect internally week to week. Withdrawals and expired is only at 4%. That's not a really big change. But months of inventory, we have gone from 4.2 months of inventory last year to 6 months of inventory. And this is Austin citywide. What you'll notice is this is really different from neighborhood to neighborhood. I'm going to show you a couple of charts here. We're going to look at Tarrytown. We're just going to show you how we've been diving into different neighborhoods to see the inventory in that area. Downtown condos, for example, have tons and tons of inventory, something like 10 months of inventory. Right, that's really different than the Austin citywide is 6 months. Circle C has hardly any inventory. They have 1 month of inventory. So it's really important to look specifically at that area that you are trying to transact in when the time comes. So this is the data that we're talking about. And this is what I mean by the speed of the direction of change in the market. We are at 2524 active properties, and we always like to use the same geographical area. So we're always measuring the market with the same ruler. And this is higher than last year. Last year, our peak was 2,400. Right now, we're at 2,528. I expect that we're going to get to 2,700 pretty easily here. We might even peak at 2,800. I'm just kind of curious where we're going to top out at. But what I think is more interesting is we've gone up 20% in inventory in this area in the last 6 weeks. So when we're talking to sellers and we're saying, let's get you on the market, because at least we know the current market and we don't know, it seems like it's getting less favorable to sellers. I'm not going to say worse because that sounds a little inflammatory and pejorative, but it's definitely getting less favorable to sellers the more options there are in the market, right? You want as few options on the market as possible when you go to sell your house. You want to be the only house in your neighborhood on the market. This is what we're talking about, this orange line. This is pending in the last 30 days. It's actually remarkably stable and similar to last year. The peak of last year was like 657, 658 over here. And if you can see my mouse, and this year we're at 625. We're actually the highest this last week than we've been all year. So there's still some decent strength to the market that we're really happy to see. Not too much exciting happening in the average or median sold price. We're being pretty stable over the course of the last year. This is our average. Our total sales are down about 14% from April of last year. It's kind of what we talked about earlier.